everyone, my name is Tracy. This is the 3-Wick Thesis Candle channel, and I really appreciate you joining me today for this very special episode that is focused on a memorial rotation that I created in memory of my mom. Today, Sunday, August 3rd, would have been her 82nd birthday. However, if you've been following my channel for the last couple of months, you know that she passed away recently in June. I was able to be there with her passing, and it was a life-changing experience, to put it mildly. I miss her, and I want to memorialize her in a way that feels uniquely me, and that is through scent and fragrance. I am a social psychologist who studies in sociology, and one of the things that I always teach my students is the power of smell. That our brain associates particular smells with particular memories, people, events, places, you name it. Our brain locks down those fragrances, and then we have what's called an involuntary memory, where we'll smell something and all of a sudden it will just hit us. It will remind us of a place or a person or a moment in time. And those memories can be very, very powerful. So I always talk about the power of scent, and it felt appropriate to me to create a rotation where if I want those memories to come back, I'm going to fire one of these up and think of my mom in different contexts and different times throughout my life with her. So I have a total of 7 candles that I'm going to share, and I don't plan on setting like a timeline for when I want to get through these. Grief is a tricky emotion. There are going to be days where I'm not going to even want to look at this rotation. There's going to be days that I look at it and struggle to choose which one I want to burn, which memory I want to associate with her. I'm kind of sad to get through some of these because it feels like a conclusion to a moment or a process, and I know I can buy more, but there's going to be something about this rotation that's going to be incredibly special to me and meaningful. And I want to share it with y'all because, number one, y'all have been very supportive of me in the loss of my mom and my grieving process. I know it sounds weird, but one of the thoughts I had was like, how am I going to keep my channel going, while I'm grieving and dealing with the memorial planning and trying to help the stepdad out. And I found space because it helps me. Like, making this content is good for me. And I think interacting with you all and seeing how supportive you were, how validating it was for you to share your experiences with the loss of your mother. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. I really appreciate y'all so much. I appreciate your support. I appreciate you being here, and it means a lot to me. And I worried a little bit. I asked the hubs, I was like, do you think me sharing like these personal details and this kind of intimacy with my viewers, do you think it's exploiting my mom in some way? Because I don't want to do that, right? I'm worried that I'm somehow exploiting my mom's legacy and her life and our memories by putting this out there. And he said no. He's like, the way that you are going to present it is meaningful and powerful, and you're not trying to exploit her at all. And I'm like, I know I'm not trying to, but like, do you get what I'm saying? Is it appropriate? And so I kind of landed on, I think there's a balance. I think there's a space where I could possibly overshare, and I've had to reel in some of the stuff I was going to say, or the photos I was going to share, or, memories, whatever. So some of that I'm locking away and not sharing it in a more public setting, but this is the stuff I feel comfortable sharing, and mostly as a way for you to get to know her, because she's gone now and I want her to be known. And also for you to get to know me and where some of my love for candles and fragrance, what we call the somatic career, right? Those scent memories, where those come from and why some of these candles are so important to me. So I think we should dig in. I don't know where to start though, y'all. There's a lot here in terms of memory content, and I'm going to be sharing photos of, I think, when there's relevant stuff to share. So you might see those pop up as well. I think I'm going to begin with the Christmas cookie candle from Yankee, mostly because this one is the actual fragrance. The actual candle is more associated with me finding out what she liked in terms of candles and fragrances. So I did not know that my mom had a love for candles. She had them stashed away. She never burned them when I came home to visit. It wasn't anything we ever talked about. I didn't even know that she would allow candles in the house. I remember being a teenager and having this really cool candle and wanting to burn it. She didn't want me to burn it. I think she thought I was irresponsible, and I probably was. So when I found her candle stash and found that stuff was burnt and that she had a backup of this one, I was like, okay, well then I have to put this in the rotation. And this is Christmas Cookie by Yankee. I'll put the scent notes up here because Yankee doesn't put them on the jar, and honestly, I don't remember what they are. This is just a delicious sugar cookie fragrance. The one my mom has actually has good fragrance. This is really light. But like sugar cookie dough almost, more so than like a baked sugar cookie, because I don't get that like brown bottom cookie element that you would with a baked cookie. This smells almost like raw cookie dough. I get vanilla. Yeah, it's delicious. It's almost a cakey fragrance to me. And while I don't have any memories of making this sort of cookie with my mom, she was not a cookie decorator, and sugar cookies were not her thing. Actually, this actually reminds me more of my paternal grandmother who used to make Christmas cookies with me. However, my mom did love to make Toll House cookies, as evidence of this photo of me as a child eating her cookie dough. And by the way, my parents still have this bowl. I was talking to my stepdad. I was like, that bowl right there has been in the family for a very long time. I'm pretty sure there's a picture of me eating cookie dough out of it. I think he thought I was kind of, BSing him. And then we found the photo and I was like, see? And he couldn't believe that the bowl had been around for that long. I think it's Tupperware, like old school Tupperware. So quality, y'all, quality. So this one hopefully has a little bit of strength for me so I can actually enjoy it. She did really like this one. She had one that was almost gone, and then she'd had a backup of that particular candle, so I know she liked that one. Next, I think I will talk about Frogs on Lily Pads. Now, this is one that I had actually started to burn. You'll see that I'm about halfway through, and then I realized how important this was to this particular rotation. And that is because my mom and my stepdad started building a pond about probably 20 years ago. I had just moved to the West Coast when they started building the pond in the back of their property. And he's continued to work on it, but that became my mom's sanctuary. She would go back there and sit by the pond, and she had her big long lens camera that she would take pictures of the deer, of the frogs, butterflies, dragonflies. There's blue heron back there she was taking pictures of. So I'll share some of those pictures that she took here with you because I think she was a good photographer. She captured some really awesome moments back there. And I know that she loved walking down to the pond and sitting and just being in nature. And since I've been visiting my stepdad almost every night, even when it was 90 degrees outside, I would say, I'm going to go for my walk, and I go down, walk around the pond. Sometimes I would use that time to call Jason and talk to him and catch him up on what was going on. It is so peaceful down there. It is such an amazing thing that my stepdad did with his property, and he has more plans for it, which I love, that he still wants to do more stuff with it. Also, I've helped him mow the pond around the area. He doesn't want me to do the bank. He does that part, but I do the rest of it. So it's become a special space for me as well. So when I saw this particular candle, I was like, yep, I gotta include this one because it reminds me of the pond that she loved so much and that I've come to enjoy. This one is scent notes of water lilies, English bluebells, and crystal waters. It's very aquatic, very fresh, very sharp floral. It's well blended. You get that white floral from the bluebells, and the water lily, I think, is adding the aquatic note, maybe the crystal waters too. Yeah, fresh, green, aquatic, floral. This one is white wax. I don't remember what type of wicks that one had, but also this jar is really pretty when lit. If you put this, face it towards the wall, it shines on a luminary and you get this kind of like outline of the florals. Also, I love the little frog right there. Super cute. The next one I think I'll talk about is the vanilla coconut. One, I just love this fragrance, and I honestly don't associate the smell with my mom at all. It's this picture. It's the sand dollar. My mom loved sand dollars. And I remember when I was a kid, she was still married to my dad, and we would go down to Florida, and she would try to find sand dollars. She'd buy them at like the touristy shops. She always had a sand dollar laying around on her desk. She had sand dollar ornaments at Christmas. She loved sand dollars. She took pictures of sand dollars. You name it, this was her vibe. Also, the color scheme of this feels like childhood. When I was a kid, I wore a lot of like this color blue and these blues and purples. That was kind of my energy as a child, were these colors. I still love them, by the way. So this reminds me both of like my childhood, but also her love for sand dollars. And this one is Sweet Vanilla, Coconut Waves, and Beechwood. And this is probably one of my favorite coconut candles. Oh, I love it. The vanilla in here is warm without going the way of bakery gourmand. The coconut is fleshy and a little bit nutty and earthy. Beechwood, which is normally cologne-y, it's not in this. It just feels very natural. I almost get what feels like sea salt in here from the Beechwood. Yeah, I love this one so much. Very comforting too, which I think will be good. Corwicks on that white wax. Speaking of taking trips to Florida, I thought I would break this one out. I had it in a D-stash pile, and I don't exactly know what my aversion to this scent is, or was, going into June. But it's the Life's a Beach from Kringle. And you may recall I did a review on this one and I said, this smells just like that copper tone lip gloss that my mom had when I was a kid. And for some reason in that moment, the memories I was associating didn't feel positive. And I think it's because I was associating it from a specific time in history when she was still married to my dad and things weren't always great. I was very young, 3-4 years old. But after she passed, I smelled this candle and it was immediately like I was hugging my mom again, and she had the lip gloss on. So it became very important to me, so I'm including it. Copper tone lip gloss, y'all. Scent notes on this are tonka bean, amber, jasmine, and sandalwood. Yeah. Yeah, it reminds me of hugging her during our trip to Florida and smelling her lip gloss. And the memory that I have of this lip gloss specifically up until her passing was that I remember wanting to be like Lois Lane and like caking it on and making my lips really glossy. So I remember the smell from that too, but suddenly I smell her when I smell it now. So it's become super meaningful. I'm so glad I didn't donate it or give it away or de-stash it, because now I feel like it's taken on a new meaning. It's really important to me. I will add that is also the trip where I learned to swim. My dad taught me how to swim on that trip, and my mom always encouraged me to be a water baby. She took me to the local lakes. She took me to pools. We have a pool at my stepdad's, and I love water. I love swimming. She loved going to Lake Michigan and taking photos. She loved the ocean when she came out to visit me. I think I get that from her, the love of water and beach from her. So I'm so glad she passed that joy down to me. She supported me learning how to swim so that I could live in the water, basically. So this one's a powerful one. This is by Kringle, by the way. Kind of a creamy tan wax. And I think these are the standard curly wicks from Kringle. I like the lid on that too. So this one, very special. Has my heart. Now, I tried to order the passion fruit peony candle from Goose Creek. It's the one that has the ants on it. And I think I shared with you before she passed that the label reminded me of her because my mom grew peonies at the house where I grew up. And she panicked when there were ants crawling all over them. And she was out. I remember distinctly watching her pick all the ants off because she thought they were destroying the plant, only to find out later, after she visited the Michigan State Extension Office in our hometown, that they're good for the peonies and they actually need the ants to open up. So here's a picture of me standing next to those peony bushes that were in our side yard. I couldn't get that candle because, of course, it sold out and I didn't have a backup. I burned through mine, I think in May. I may have burned it in May to honor her for Mother's Day. However, I have another candle that has peony in it, which also, because of the label, thank you, Kent, has meaning to me as well, and that is the You're So Perfect Now this one has the cats on it, and my mom was a certified cat lady. She loved cats. Actually, you've seen my videos. If you've been watching my channel, she had 4 of them that show up all the time in the videos that I record at my stepdad's house. She taught me to love cats. We had cats growing up, and it's because of her that I know how to treat cats and love on cats. And yeah, I owe that to her. Very special connection I have with animals because of her and what she taught me. Plus, not only does this have cats on it, but it is peony scented, so it's perfect. It's fresh dewy rose, which, by the way, rose was her favorite flower, pink peony blooms, and bouquet greens, and I love this candle. You get those bouquet greens. It is so fresh and green, but like dense. It literally smells like you stuck your nose into a bouquet and you get that like florist shop, dense kind of aquatic green note. And then you have this just beautiful floral that is rose and peony put together, and neither one is too strong. It's just super well balanced. White wax, thin, stiff, ropey wicks on this one. And this was a Valentine's Day candle that Goose Creek did. It's also named the Perfect Rose. This is my last one, and I am absolutely going to savor burning it, not only because it's a part of my mom's rotation, but because I just love the fragrance so much. Okay, the next one, I'm going to burn my backup of the Disney Princess from Bath & Body Works Life's a Fairytale. This was the online member exclusive. I bought 2 because I thought one might break, and then both survived. This one sold out really fast too, y'all. It's Magical Lotus Petals, Fairytale Peach, and White Cedarwood. I chose this one for a couple of reasons. It's interesting, the connection that I'm making, and it feels almost like a spiritual vibe to me of like, wow, this was meant to be. So when my mom was passing, she was on hospice, and they were letting us administer morphine to her for pain. And she didn't like the taste of morphine. And so my sister got the idea, and she approved it with the hospice nurse, that we could take a little dropper and chase it with some peach schnapps. My mom, for the most part, hated alcohol. She didn't like drinking. My dad was an alcoholic, so I think she had really bad associations with alcohol. However, she loved her peach schnapps, and she would keep it in the vegetable drawer, the little pint size in the vegetable drawer, and she would put it in her 7-Up, and it would be like, she'd call it a fuzzy navel. I don't know if that's a technical term for the drink or if she made it up. So my sister had the idea of, well, let's chase it with some peach schnapps. So the peach in this reminds me of her last few days of enjoying schnapps on her way out. And then it's just perfumey. It's very feminine. It's very beautiful. And I feel like it fits with the fragrance in those memories. However, it also, because of the Disney theme, reminds me of a trip that I took my mom on back in 2005. I took her to Disney World. I had some time off that, I think it was in November. I had some time off. My stepdad was going hunting, and I was like, Mom, let's go to Disney World. Like, I'll book us a hotel there. We stayed at one of the New Orleans hotels in Disney World, and we went for, I think it was like a 5-day ticket hopper pass that I bought. So we flew down there. My mom did not at all like to fly. So instead of me flying from where I am here in California to Orlando, I flew to Michigan first, and then flew with her on the plane to Orlando, flew with her back to Michigan, and then flew back to California. I did a lot of flying, but she didn't want to fly alone, and I wanted her to feel as comfortable as possible. And the trip was, I mean, it was a mixed bag. My mom was a very fun person. I think often she was very childlike, and I loved her for that reason. She was very playful, and so she fit in perfectly with Disney, and she loved it. She loved that aspect of it. But I feel like some of our differences came out in that trip, of things that she would say about people, the stereotypes she would have about other people who were there at Disney World. And there were times when I got really frustrated with her about that. And of course, looking back, hindsight's always 20/20. It's like, you should have just enjoyed that trip and not worried about her stereotyping the motorcycle guy with tattoos, right? Like, just let it go. You could have just enjoyed the trip. So for me, the trip memory was a little bit of a mixed bag, but when she passed and we started going through her stuff, I saw where she saved so much from that trip. She saved the room key. She saved the little like welcome booklet map thing that we got from the hotel. She had a whole like photo book that she bought at Disney World and had photos of us in it. So then I realized just how important that trip was to her. And then therefore I feel like it it made me realize how much she valued that experience. My mom was not always expressive with her feelings. It made me realize she really liked that trip and had a good time with me, despite the fact that I think I was just being like a disgruntled child, right? I mean, I was 25, but I don't know. Y'all, did you all go through that stage? I feel like in my 20s, I was mad at my parents a lot for things. I'm glad I got over that, but it was rough there for a little bit. So she clearly enjoyed the trip, so I figured the Disney theme, perfect. And then the last one, because of butterflies, Butterfly Garden. I think I was probably 19 or 20, and I was standing out on my parents' deck that overlooks the pool in like an old barn that they have back there. And my mom made some kind of comment to me. I think it was because my grandpa had just passed. By the way, my grandpa, my mom's dad, also died of Alzheimer's. And I think he had just passed, and we were grieving together. And she said to me, when I die, I'm going to come back to you as a butterfly. And I said to her, Mom, there's butterflies everywhere. So you're going to have to be really convincing because I'm not going to believe it's you. Again, that's that like 20-year-old angst, right? Against my mom trying to be sentimental. And then I feel like for a week after she died, butterflies became very obvious to me. And I don't know, some of that is you'll see it when you believe it, right? So in some way, I think I was probably looking for butterflies. But then it kept creeping up in like the weirdest spots. Like I was riding in the car with Jason when I came back here from Michigan the first time. And I said, oh, I haven't seen my butterfly today. And he's like, what do you mean? I was like, well, I feel like I've seen a butterfly, but not like in unexpected places. It's just like random places where butterflies show up. And he's like, oh, well, what do you mean? I was like, I don't know. I can't really describe it, but I'm waiting for my butterfly today. And about 3 minutes later, the, what is it, Butterfly with, I forget the name of the song, I'll put it down here, from Smashing Pumpkins came on the radio. And then the dashboard screen, touch screen in my car said Butterfly, right, the title of the song there. And I was like, there it is. Do you see? That's what I mean. It's not like a butterfly where you would expect to see it. It's just like in a random location, like in a song title on the screen of the car. It's not like you're out in nature and you see a butterfly. So I'm convinced that if it's possible for our dead loved ones to come back and visit us, I think she has. There's been several times that butterflies have appeared in my life where I've been like, wow, that's really random and kind of weird since she's passed. So this one, for that reason, felt like it's got to be burned for her memorial rotation. This is by Goose Creek, by the way. Apple blossoms, white jasmine, and creamy coconut milk. It's kind of like, it's almost like a sunscreeny floral candle. The coconut milk ends up feeling a little sunscreeny, and then the florals in this are pretty bright, a little bit sharp, well balanced. Also, like the frogs on lily pads, love the jar on this one. Love the color of this too. She did like red. She went through a phase where she loved red. So I think this will be good for multiple reasons. And speaking of butterflies, I wanted to share with you some friend mail that I got from Charity Rose. And I have to say, y'all, I opened this up, I started bawling immediately. I saw the butterfly on here and just started weeping. Oh, it's such a thoughtful gift. So there's butterflies here, another butterfly. And it's a lantern that's solar powered, so it's got this solar battery on the top, and you hang it up outside. It charges during the day, and then at night it's light activated, so when it gets dark out, it glows. And actually I have two different spots. I have a bird feeder hook out here and another one in the front. I'm going to figure out where I'm going to put it because I don't want it to get stolen either. But it will be a really nice way to look out my window and see this and think of my mom. And I've been chatting with Charity, and I've told her this. I think she'd be fine with me sharing what I shared with her. I'm the type of person that really tends to other people's grief. So staying in Michigan to help my stepdad cope, trying to make sure my brother's doing okay, making sure my sister's okay, and I don't talk a lot about my own grief. And it felt really good to have someone tend to my grief. It was super powerful to me to know that I've met a friend in the wax community, that y'all are so supportive of each other. It is such a great community, and I'm so thankful to be a part of it. And to know that she listened to one of the videos where I said I associate butterflies with my mom, saw the butterflies, and sent it to me, it means a lot. It means a lot to know that someone else is tending to my grief, recognizes it, and wants to express care. So Charity, you're an awesome friend. I really appreciate you more than I can express through words or, stinky candles like the Lucky Vibes single wicks that I sent you. But really, our friendship means a lot, and I am so glad that I started my channel and that you found me. You were one of my first subscribers. Super happy to have you in my life, and that you thought of me in this moment of grief. And I know you understand grief and pain. So you've been there in a way that I think few friends of mine can be and have been. So I really appreciate you. Okay, y'all. That is my mom's memorial rotation. I really, really appreciate y'all being here. Not an easy video to film. I feel very vulnerable and sad to express my honest emotions. But I know that you all are supportive, that you will be gentle with my emotions for this video. And again, y'all mean the world to me, and I really appreciate you being here and the support you've expressed. So thank you. And if your mom is still around, call her, give her a hug, say what you want to say now. Don't wait. Because I think for me, I always thought, well, I can call her tomorrow. And I wish I'd talked to her more. I wish I'd called her more often. I wish I'd visited her more often. Difficult lesson to learn after the fact, but I am taking that opportunity now to maintain a special bond with my stepdad. He's the last parent I have left, and I'm making sure that I keep that bond going because I want him to know how much I care about him. So if you haven't talked to your mom for a while and y'all love each other, reach out, right? Tell her you say hi. All right, y'all, I'm going to leave you with a voice recording and some photos of my mom, of just some memories I wanted to share with you. And I will see you all again tomorrow with my massive empties video. I hope you'll join me. Thanks so much for being here with me today. Bye-bye. My mom taught me a lot, but the most profound lesson she gave me was about love. She never held back her affection. I grew up with hugs, kisses, and frequent I love yous. I held her hand when we walked together, even as adults. She gave the best back scratches and never let anyone go hungry. No, Mom, I don't need you to make me a grilled cheese sandwich. Her love was warm, constant, and offered without hesitation. As an adult, I've come to understand how much courage and vulnerability that kind of love requires. I aspire to show even half of that love in my own relationships. As I moved into adulthood, our relationship evolved. My life took a very different path from hers, and even when she didn't fully understand the world I was moving through, things like academic conferences, theory-heavy papers, all the stress of graduate school and becoming a professor, she stayed curious. She always wanted to know what I was doing and how I was holding up. Sometimes she'd say, "I don't totally get what you're talking about, but I'm so proud of you." That was one of the things I loved most about her. She didn't need to be the expert to show up with interest and love. She was invested in me, not just as her daughter, but as a full person trying to figure out who I was. And her belief in me gave me permission to believe in myself. She was incredibly talented, an artist in every sense of the word. She could draw beautifully, take stunning photos, and create quilts that were works of art. I loved one of her quilts so much that I tattooed it on my forearm. Not surprisingly, it's the only tattoo she ever approved of. She also taught me how to bake, passing down her mom's blue ribbon apple pie traditions. Of course, my mom was also stubborn and persistent, and I say that with admiration. I inherited some of that from her, and while it sometimes caused tension between us, it's also what helped me survive many challenging moments in my life. Her stubbornness taught me how to hold the line, how to advocate for yourself and for others, especially in the face of injustice. It wasn't always an easy lesson to learn, but it was a powerful one. There are 2 moments I want to share that I think reveal her spirit best. The first is from when I was about 7 or 8. She took my sister and I on a girls' weekend to a small town up north. We were walking through a big box store, I think it was a Kmart or a Big Wheel, when the song Tracy by the Cufflinks came over the speaker. She picked up a toy ice cream cone, one of those plastic ones where the foam top pops off when you press the button, and she used it as a microphone. She started dancing through the aisles, serenading me with the lyrics, "Tracy, when I'm with you, something you do bounces me off the ceiling." That was my mom. Playful, impulsive, goofy, and completely unbothered by what anyone else thought. She just wanted to make me laugh. The second moment came a year or 2 later. She was single and had just moved in to our new place. I rushed home from the bus to ride my bike, and as I rounded the corner of the house, I saw her outside, building a shed, alone. It was probably a 12 by 12 with aluminum siding, and I remember thinking, my mom is so cool. She was independent, capable. She didn't wait for help, she just got it done. That small moment planted a seed in me to be self-sufficient, to tackle things I didn't think I could do, and to take pride in what I accomplished. There's no perfect way to sum up someone as big and loving and complicated as my mom, but I hope these stories show you the woman I knew. Fiercely loving, wildly creative, deeply proud, and always showing up.